We are committed to creating a safe and supportive space for our guests and listeners, and to provide information and tools that will help our listeners understand, manage, and overcome trauma. We understand that the healing journey can bring up challenging emotions. Therefore, we want to warn our audience that certain episodes may contain discussions or stories that could be triggering for some individuals. The content of the podcast is for educational and informative purposes only, and we encourage you to practice self-care and discretion while listening, and to reach out to a trusted support system or professional if you feel overwhelmed and need help on your healing journey. Samantha, thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited. We're going to talk about your book. I'm going to give the name of the book real quick, and then I'll let you do your introductions. But it's called Unstuck Yourself: The Guide to Designing a Life You Love. And I love that. So I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. I do too. I wish my publisher would have told me when I was coming up with the name of the book that there was like 10 books called Unstuck Yourself, but
wow.
Whatever. But it's the subtitle that really tells the story. It's, design a life that you love.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a workbook. Everybody loves it until they get to the work part.
I know. It's like, oh, it's a great title. I want that. And then, yeah, it's work. You're having to get in there and dig in. Yeah. It's not easy.
No, it's, what's even harder is my courses, but that's okay. The book is just a nice start to get unstuck and see how yummy it feels.
Yeah.
Right? Let the magic of the woo-woo, God, spirit, source, universe.
Yeah, kind of work in there, right?
Yeah, show you what it's got. Put in your order. Let's go.
So what made you decide to write this book? Like what sparked it?
Okay, so can I do a little backstory?
Absolutely. We love backstories.
Okay, cool. So in the book, if we read the whole thing or even the first chapter, it talks about I dropped out of high school twice and then I dropped out of college. So the idea of me, and by the way, I wasn't really an attentive student when I was in school. So for me to write a book was kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal.
Yeah, thanks. So I got help. So I always want to tell people, you can do anything and, just get experts to help you. That's all.
Right.
That's
Bring
all.
it
I
in.
just got help.
Don't try to do it all on your own if you don't have to.
And I fought with my writer a lot because I write how I talk.
Me too.
Well, apparently that's not grammatically correct. And so she would interview me, we would write, or I would send her, okay, here, I wrote the first 7 chapters and sent it originally, right? And she reframed them. I'm like, that doesn't sound like me at all. It's like, I'm not saying I invented this stuff, but I definitely have a voice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to give that side note because anybody can do anything. If the mind can conceive it, they can achieve it. Right. So, and this book is a Amazon International best-selling book.
Yeah, I didn't say that, and I had it in my notes. Sorry, I meant to mention that because that's a big deal. No, it's a big deal.
I'm super psyched. Yeah, I'm very happy. So I'll tell you 2 things about this really quick. One, what made me decide to write the book is because I wanted to reach more people and I wanted to help more people. It's funny. I was talking to one of my mentors at a business retreat a few weeks ago. And I'm not really that interested in scaling my business anymore. I'm happy with my time freedom. You know what I mean? I don't want to work lots of hours. It's, things like that. And I have enough, right? Don't get me wrong. More's good, but I have enough. And she hit a chord in me, which is part of who I am. It's like, but what about impacting more people? Boom. Because that's really what it was always been for me. I'll tell you right now, unless you're John Grisham or you're doing bajillions of copies and multiple, you don't make money writing a book. It costs you money.
Yeah, that's true.
But it does lend to credibility, and especially if people like what they're reading in the book, and so that's working. But yeah, I wanted to impact more people.
Yeah, that's a impactful statement. That would motivate me too.
Right? Yeah, I know that. I got that from you the first time you and I had an opportunity to chat. We
I
share a lot
know.
of those core
Yeah. Yeah.
values.
And, and it's funny because it's being brought up a couple of times lately about me writing a book, and I'm like, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm
What
not there,
it took me
but
5 years, by the way. This
yeah.
book took me 5 years.
Yeah. And, it's not out of the realm. It's like, there's a few things I want to do first.
Right. Okay. There's also a yes and. You
There
could
you
have
go.
yes, yes, and I'm going to do these other things, and maybe you do at the same time, and you don't give yourself a deadline. It's not like
Right. Right. Exactly.
when things come upon you and feel inspired, get writing.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
I've done in some of the stuff that I've done, especially for the podcast, the research and everything that, there's a lot there already. I mean, it's amazing. The podcast has been on for 3 months now, and it feels like I've been doing it for a lifetime.
Well, it's part of you.
Part of it, yeah.
It's part of your legacy and your heart work,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, totally. Totally.
mhm.
So what motivated you to write this book?
I wanted to impact more people.
Right?
I mean, that really was a motivation behind it. Is like, how do I reach more people? And it took me 5 years. I started, and then I, fell off, and then I started again, not started, but, picked it back up again. And then I restarted, and it was a little bit of personal therapy, right? Because I write a bit about
Oh, yeah.
my mom in there.
Mm.
And yeah, so the motivation came, believe it or not, when I paid somebody to structure it and format it for me. It's like, okay, now I got to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Money's a
Yeah.
motivator for a lot of people. So spending money on it was like, okay, it's time to do it.
Yeah.
I wish my answer was because I really wanted to get to people faster. No, it's just because it was time.
It was time. And
Yeah.
you're spending the money, but you're investing. I mean, when you really think about it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I coach most of my women in business. That's the majority of my clients are women in business at all levels. Some of them have brand new baby businesses that, haven't even broke the 60,000 mark. And some of them, have $50 million businesses. So,
Mhm.
but it's hire the experts, hire people in their area of genius. Let them do what really fires them up. Stop beating yourself up trying to do something that's not in your wheelhouse.
Exactly. And I've had to learn that myself, because it's like trying to do everything myself. And I want to use my brain space for the things that I'm good at and I'm passionate about, and not try to spend it on something that I have no interest in.
Right.
And will struggle trying to learn or whatever, try to do.
Amen. A lot of people say, well, I can't afford it. It's like, well, I'm going to guess if we looked over the course of a 6-month period or 1-year period or whatever, that a matter of hours that you invested, that you could be doing what your area of genius is, versus letting someone that could do it in a split second.
Mm-hmm.
Often I think you're going to get it back.
There's a value in your time, and you don't, you want to work 24 hours a day.
So funny. We all get marketed now like crazy. We get these emails, or we get, messengers on LinkedIn or whatever. And I got an email recently, and it was about getting more clients. And I replied with, time is so precious. You worded this in a sense that my spidey senses are going off. Is this a marketing call that you'd like me to get on with you? Or
I've called them out too.
Mm-hmm. And
I've
good for you for marketing, but don't waste my time.
Right. And don't come across like it's one thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Be transparent. Hey, do you want more clients? Because I have a system. Awesome. If I want more clients, I will reach out.
Yeah. I'll let you know. Let me reach out to you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've called them out because they'll come at me like, oh, coach, and I can give you lots of coaching clients. And I'm like, you clearly haven't read my profile.
Right. It's like,
I literally said that.
I have too. People are like, oh, you should publish a book. Clearly you have not read my profile. It's fine. Or, big thing is we'll get you more clients, you'll make $30,000 more a month. No, I only have room for 3 clients in my entire practice. I don't need this mass thing where I'm not touching people directly.
That's the whole thing, that you lose you lose that special touch. And that's
Right.
one of the things I wanted to touch on, because you've been a life coach for a long time. This
Yeah.
isn't something you've done the last couple of years. I mean, I
No.
think it's 2009. In my notes,
2009, I quit my job. Yeah. And went to school, but I didn't quit that time. I actually finished. Yeah. I went and got my certification for being a life coach.
yeah. So you've been doing this for a long time. So you've got
Hmm.
lots of experience.
Hmm.
So tell us more about the book, and tell us, what is the guide to designing the life you love?
First of all, it is to find out what you love.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, can't be an answer. So I do workshops. I'd love you to come just for fun. I'll do one in February.
Okay. I'm going to make a note of that.
Anyway, I do workshops, kind of helping people get those juices going. Like, what would you really love in?
Mm-hmm.
And typically there's 4 areas that I work with people. The book gives you like 9 or 10 that you can choose what speaks to you most. But I kind of combine them, and I talk to people about what would you love around your health and well-being, right? What would you love? Well, I don't want my back to hurt anymore. Okay, we need to reframe this. So I've follow a system and teach a system where people write what they love, and when something comes up that they don't want, like their back to hurt, they also write that down. And then we go through, because what you don't want and what's not in your life, flip it over and it'll tell you what it is that you would love to have.
Exactly. And that's what you want to focus on, is what
Yeah,
you want and not what you don't want.
right. Well, I mean, God, spirit, source, universe, it's got perfect hearing. So if you're wondering why it's such a poop show all the time, then stop talking and thinking poop show.
Listen to yourself. Listen to what's coming out of your mouth.
Right. 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 I mean, it's like you're creating this. I promise.
Mm-hmm. I know that to be true, because I know that is true in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I have absolutely turned that around. And I'm very careful, not just what I say, but what goes on up here, what I
Right.
listen to, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, garbage in, garbage out. Right. So it's, yeah. So I work with people on, for instance, what would you love in your health and well-being, be it spiritual, mental, physical. And then what would you love in your time freedom and money freedom? That was a big shift for me in my 40s. I'm pushing 60 now. So it was a big shift for me to leave the money and go to the life.
I did the same thing. I did the
Yeah.
same. I quit my job, my full-time job last year, to do this.
Thank you.
And it was scary.
Thank you. How's it going so far?
Awesome.
Right?
Best thing I did. Nothing against them. It's just the best thing for me, for sure.
No, for sure. The job I ended up leaving before I moved to Mexico, I loved it. It was a great job, but it didn't, it afforded me a lot of money.
Yes.
But it didn't afford me time to raise my small children at the time. It didn't afford me, to do the things that my heart was really screaming to do. So, anyway, and that's kind of the thing. So what would you love your time freedom to look like? And maybe it's going out and donating in the community, or maybe it's traveling or whatever, and your money freedom. Here's the thing. Money's awesome. It's awesome. We can do so much with it. And people get afraid when they say, oh, but you'd be amazed how many people have money paradigms. Incredible. How many people are like, oh, I don't need that. I go, give it to me. I'll donate it for you. It's like, money's not a bad thing. The love of money.
Exactly.
Over all else is where the problem lies.
What you will do for that money, what you're willing to do.
Right.
Yeah, I am 100% in alignment with that. It's like, having money is not bad. It's the love of money and what you will do. And we can see right now what's going on and what people are willing to do for the love of money.
Right. Right. If you look at money as freedom and your ability to give and donate, and in the areas of your highest interest, well, now money's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the second one. So we have health and well-being, we have time freedom, money freedom, career and creative expression. Majority of my clients are women in business, as I said, but some of them, now they're learning to free up their time. They want to really expand that creative piece in them. For instance, had a gal who was a nurse and she loved making soy candles. So guess what? Creative expression. She ended up making a business out of them. I mean, a business. Another one, she worked in resort sales or something up in Scottsdale, and she loved making jewelry. So we turned her closet in the guest room into her little jewelry counter. So it's okay. You can have both. You can have a career and you can creatively express yourself too.
And right? I think that's what is so nice about what you do is you help people bridge that gap. Because I can remember for so many years, the thought of quitting a full-time job, my stability, right? Because I worked all my life, and in so much of my life, I had to work. I was the breadwinner. So the thought of not making money was so frightening. And so it took me a long time to really, and then there was a whole fear of money and the whole, there was all that I had to work through first and not have the fear of money and understand money more and really wrap my head around it. And my husband was a huge help for that. Huge. And then once I could wrap my head around that, then I could move towards actually quitting that job and being okay with it.
Yeah. I think that you and I share in something from a turbulent past, and money also often can represent security.
Yes.
That's why I made money, is to be secure and not rely on anybody else.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
So, but again, at my age now, thank goodness I figured out in the last 15 years, 20 years or so that money moves. It's called currency for a reason. It's a current, it moves, it flows. You can squeeze it as tight as you want, but
it's true.
You just have to learn to make it your friend. So let's see, what topics did I have there? I had, love and relationships would be the fourth one.
Okay.
And it could be love. It could be a romantic love. It could be a family love. It could be a friendship love. It could be a relationship that needs some attention. Maybe there's the discord in it that we need to clean some things up, that type of thing. So those are the four, I like to call them pillars or legs to the table.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Or I often call them cylinders in the car. You know what I mean? We all drive cars or ride in cars, at least if we don't drive them. More and more people don't drive these days, but is that you have to have all the cylinders functioning. If
balanced,
one starts getting gunked up and doesn't go, then the other three now are working harder. And then another one's going to go. And eventually you're going to be stuck on the side of the road going, I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
So I help people through the book. The book is a step-by-step guide of how to design a life that you love. It's a workbook. And then it's got some practical things to implement in your life on a daily basis, prayer, meditation, good sleep, good diet, breathing, we don't have to do all that at once. It's a lot, but
but it's steps. And that's the thing. You don't have to hit it all at once. You're not going to, you're going to get overwhelmed. And so you just take one step at a time.
So it's funny. I don't know if you know the statistic, but there's all these people that do New Year's resolutions. I do not do New Year's resolutions. I never have, but they say statistically 96%, 94% fail. It means 6% achieve it. So in the past, I've always done my, rah motivation, work, blah, blah, in February after everybody, failed on their New Year's resolutions. Like, now do you want to do the real work?
Yeah. Are you ready now?
Yeah. So what I'm doing this year, though, is I'm doing a free 30 days from good to great challenge for people. It's like, just take a small bite today. Just open your email and see what I have to say for you. It's based on the book. And it's just it feel good about yourself. These are small things that you can totally do, that if you do them consistently for 30 days, your life's going to look very different in 30 days. And it doesn't mean that you just spent, 30 hours at the gym.
Right.
Or,
It's small bites.
Small bites. And the only thing, I should charge for it just because I think we value things we pay for, but I'm not. I'm just going to do it as a give for people in the new year.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Thanks.
awesome. Because that is something that I had to learn about myself. And one of the many things is, of course, when I get overwhelmed, I can tend to shut down in a situation like that. And so, I'll look at something I want to do and I look at the whole picture and I'm like, it's too much. And what I've had to learn to do is exactly what you are teaching. And that is just take one little step and start with that one. And when you do take that step, be proud of yourself, give yourself credit. Instead of saying, oh, I just did that one little step. No, you did that one little step. That's awesome.
Would you say that to your girlfriend or your bestie?
Exactly.
If your bestie did something, would you go, that's all? You suck. No.
That's so
you would
true.
never do that, right?
Yeah.
Never do that.
No.
And
those small steps add up.
Amen.
And then, like you said, after 30 days of doing each one of those steps, you've already changed your life.
So I promise, if people do it, just because like you mentioned earlier, I've been doing this for a long time, professional coaching, as in certified, but the behavior of coaching, I've always been in management and leadership and training. So trust me, I always had my people that I loved and nurtured and raised, right? I know for a fact, I'm positive that when people make a small step, it's kind of like the cha-cha. Sometimes they're going to, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Keep going. They're going to progress and things are going to show up in their life.
Yeah. And the stuff that you do in that 30 days, like if you take that challenge, you're not going to see the full repercussions of that for a little bit. You're going to see some changes, but just keep it up. And it just adds and adds and adds upon itself.
Yeah. It's kind of like if you go to the gym, it takes a while to have the muscles start to pop out. And every once in a while you're like, ooh, look at that. Oh, if you go on a diet, we all would like to lose 10 pounds today. It's not going to happen. And if it did, it's going to come back because it was water.
Yeah.
It's
so
true.
It's true.
So let me ask you a question. What do you think I could offer as far as knowledge or experience or thought to your listeners? Ooh, what do you think they want to hear from me?
Well, my listeners want hope.
Okay.
So I always like to end my podcast with a lot of hope. And so we've already gone in that direction of giving them baby steps.
Hope to feel whole, hope to feel better,
hope
to be beyond whatever it is that they feel is holding them back.
Right. Because, there's, of course, my listeners are of varying places, but some, they're realizing that they need to start healing, but they don't know where to start. I'm finding that there's a lot of that. Unfortunately, it's like they become aware of, okay, I'm aware of how I feel and what's going on. I don't like this, but I don't know what to do. And I can remember being in that place.
Yes, I know that, and you want to help. That's why we're having these conversations, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
To put these golden nuggets out there for them.
I'm going to give a couple of little tools.
Good.
And you actually used one of the words. One of the words is what?
Is what?
What? Not how am I going to feel better? How am I going to get over this? What can I do today? What's just a thing I can do today? And I don't know is never an answer, because there's always a thing. It might be something as simple as I can get out of bed and take a shower.
That's right. Amen.
Amen. And you can be proud of yourself because yesterday you didn't.
That's right.
Okay.
And it's an accomplishment.
It's an accomplishment, right? It's something that indicates that when you decide for something, you can do it. So that's another one of my favorite words is decide. Decide means cut away from all that is not. If you look in the dictionary.
Mm.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
So I always look at the word decide as, okay, the blinders are on. I'm not going to be distracted by, shiny baubles and things over here, or my own paradigms or my shitty stories. Oops, sorry, but my
No, don't worry
negative
about it.
stories that I tell myself or that others have told me. And I'm going to decide for this one action or this one thing. It's like taking try out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So for instance, I'm doing a workout routine right now and I twisted my knee. So I'm not using the word, I'm going to try those exercises. I'm using the word, I'm going to do the exercises to the best of my ability.
Mm-hmm.
That,
There's a big difference in those two sentences.
you know what? Try, in my opinion, and I believe energetically, try means that way if I fail, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm giving myself a way out, really.
Yeah, I didn't really
It's
commit
true.
anyway. I hadn't really decided anyway. I just said I'd try.
Yeah, I've been eliminating that word as well. Or if I use it, I'm very careful how I use it. But it's never, I shouldn't say never, but my plan is not to use it in a case of, well, I'll try, or I tried that.
Yeah.
Because also if I said, well, I tried it, what's the next thing? And it didn't work out, well, did you learn from it? Because that's just such a negative way to go. Yeah, we could have a whole conversation about that, couldn't we?
For sure. Well, I live in that world, sis. So we totally could. We totally could, right?
Right.
Anyway.
So yeah, so this has been really good. Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What would you like to leave the audience with? What would you like to leave the audience? There's one thing that you would like to leave with the audience.
A true knowing that once you decide for something, it'll be yours. It's you need to know that. I think people need to know that. Now, I'm not saying I've decided I'm going to win the Powerball. Yes. I mean, it's possible. That'd be cool. Me too. So you have competition, you know what I mean? But no, just when you just make a decision, don't be afraid to make decisions because you can always make another decision, right? But decide. So that would be part of what I'd really like to leave your audience with is decide for today. Decide for what you would love to have or be or give or express yourself in the world. Know that it's possible. And I say that in the sense of your time freedom, your money freedom, your health, your well-being, all of that actually is within your power, but you're not doing this alone. There is a power greater than you out there that's conspiring and with you, whatever that is you believe in. If you think it's just an energy, which science will tell you it is, or if you think it's, a God, which many faiths will tell you it is, what if it's all of the above? It also is what it's going to tell you is you're actually not alone. Isn't that comforting? It's not all on your shoulders. I know you think it is, but how you think is what makes you feel it all on your shoulders.
And I will say in my experience, I do believe in God, and I don't know when I started believing in him because he was such a part of my life. I used to go to Sunday school all by myself at 4 years old on the little Sunday school bus. My mom used to wake me up and I would get on the little Sunday school bus. I wanted to go. So I've had a relationship with him, but all the adults in my life as a child failed me and didn't protect me. But it was him that got me through it because I knew I wasn't alone. Maybe physically, I didn't have the physical like I wanted, but boy, I tell you what, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him.
It's interesting that you say that because when I started dating my husband, we were in our 30s. And my husband was raised Episcopalian, very religious, went to a religious school, blah, blah. I had none of that. I would hang out with what other friends' parents would take me to church, that type of thing, just to belong to something because I was so abandoned as a kid, except for the abuse, which you and I have talked about. And it's funny, he and I were having a conversation, and when I was asking about his faith, what do you believe in? And without judgment, I hold that with an open hand, And he says, I don't believe in anything. I believe that when you die, you go to the ground and that's it. And blah, blah, blah. I went, wow, your life must have been pretty damn easy that you didn't have to dig deep for faith.
I know, right?
So if we have listeners that are out there and don't know, I don't know what I believe in, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
Something greater than you is responding to your thoughts and your energies and your feelings. And that's why we are all responsible. It's an inside job for how we start to show up in the world, regardless of what's happened to us or through us.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I had to take that hard look at myself and realize that, what happened to me as a child, I was a victim, but it was my responsibility when I became aware to turn that around. And I was no longer a victim and take responsibility for my actions. And honestly, part of this, there's a small part of this podcast, going to sound funny, but is a little bit of a confession for me in that I kept so much of my life secret and private. And I will tell you the number one reason was because of shame.
Oh, I was going to say because of shame, but I wanted you to go
full
ahead
on shame.
Yes.
So because I'm discovering this by talking to people and asking them, like, one of my good friends that I grew up with, I never talked about the abuse. She knew about it, but I never talked about it. So I kept it real quiet. And now I'm not holding back because there's no shame in it. Sometimes there'll be like a little twinge, but I'm like, wait. That's not my shame.
No, that exactly. Assign it where it belongs. And there you go. And here's the thing, continuing to carry it around is such a ripoff of who you are to people in the world.
Everybody misses out because you don't get to be who you truly, authentically are, which then allows us to engage with others, connect with others.
Yep. So now I'm going to give a different piece of advice. I mean, I'm just going to
do it.
Another piece of advice based on what you just said, because I believe it wholeheartedly, is that if people need help, whatever that is, if it's through therapy, through church, through coaches, through sporting programs, I don't care what it is. They need help that will make them mentally more available to others. Then don't be an a-hole and go get the help.
That is true.
I tell people all the time, how dare you rob people of you?
Ooh.
How, you sit in a victim role, shame on you.
Yeah, they're missing out.
We're not denying what happened. We're not denying the facts. Nobody's asking anybody to deny the facts.
Correct.
What we want is to really celebrate and infuse the truth of today. The fact is that happened. The truth is today, I fill in the blank. Right? So,
you're making me think.
Good.
I know, right?
Yeah. Good.
I tell you, I get off these podcasts. It's the funniest thing. I have so much energy. We hang up and I like get up. I can't sit. I'm out in the yard. I just got like so much energy. It's so funny. It's so cool. And then I'm processing too, It's awesome.
Yeah. Good. This was really fun. I was looking forward to seeing you. And we had such a fun time when we talked back in September, was it? Yeah.
I know. It feels like it was forever ago. And then here we are almost the end of the year. I mean, we're in the holidays.
I know. Like just a couple days from now.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. We're in December.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for being a guest on here. Thank you for sharing this book. This is awesome. And, I think that you have some really good points. There you go. Yeah. Put it up there. Unstuck yourself.
Yeah. The Guide to Designing a Life You Love. And if people can't find it, it's the easiest. It's everywhere. That's the good news. It's Amazon or everywhere, not just Amazon.
Yeah.
Look under my name, Samantha Buckley-Hugessen, Hugessen. That's
And we'll have links for this too. And then
cool.
if somebody wanted to reach out to you as a life coach or whatever, how could they reach out to you?
Well, I would just go to my website. It's pretty easy. It's called A Designed Life, LLC.com.
There you go.
Or just look up my name, Google my name, and you'll find me everywhere. I'm not hard to find.
Yeah. And we'll have all the links too.
Oh, super. Yay. And I would just, and I'd love to hear some feedback from anybody that got to hear today from us. And if there was something that you found beneficial, let me know.
Share it.
Let me know. It's like if it's good for you, it's good for others. So
yeah. And you want to keep sharing it more, right?
Right. Right.
Well, thanks again.
Oh, my pleasure. Take care, Lisa.